They're doing the right thing morally, they're doing the right thing economically, and they're doing the right thing for their shareholders and their company. You can't have a thriving tech industry that's not integrated into the world economy. And whether you look at Sergey Brin or, as Tim Cook said, Apple would not exist without immigration. That's literally true because of Steve Jobs being the son of a Syrian student and then immigrant. And likewise, the great talent out there from the top of Microsoft to the top of Google. You really can't destroy the H-1B visas, destroy immigration into this country, and take on refugees that way and expect to be part of a global economy.
Nick, Silicon Valley has been more about the free flow of brains versus some other industries being about the free flow of goods. Yes, physical movement is important, but a company like Google or Facebook, more about getting the best people in the places where you want them. How much is the reaction to this immigration move by the Trump administration about exactly that and the fear that it doesn't stop here?
I think a lot of it's about that. There's also, believe it or not, there's a lot of it that's about morals and ethics and a belief within Silicon Valley that what Trump is doing is wrong. But as Walter just said, you can go through any of these companies and some of the brightest brains in there are immigrants. What's really interesting is that there's been a lot of negativity towards Silicon Valley CEOs over the past week because they've been very quiet on issues. And finally, on Friday, this became the topic that brought them out. And don't forget, they have an incredible voice. I mean, if you think back to June 2012 with SOPA, they shut down the internet for the day, and it completely changed that ruling. And so they can do a lot with a little, as we've seen just this weekend, and as we'll see probably further into the future.
And Walter, we knew that tech was very vocal against many of Trump's policies, but even within the camps of Trump's supporters, there seems to be this division where some say he's just making good on his campaign promises, and others say, wait a second, we thought that what he was talking about during the campaign were just opening volleys and what would hopefully be longer negotiations with Congress. I mean, how widespread in Washington do you think this surprise is that he's actually signing these executive orders and putting some of these campaign issues into effect?
Kayla, I think the surprise here in Washington is not that he's doing what he said in the campaign, which he's expected to do, but that it was done in sort of a haphazard way without discussing it either with his economic team or General Mattis, the defense secretary, or General Kelly, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, that it was sort of done in a way where they keep having to explain, is this about green cards or not? You could have had a well-thought-out policy to increase vetting on certain issues, but the fact that this is distracting from everything else they're doing, and it seemed to be done in just sort of an in-your-face way instead of as a serious thought-out policy that was done for national security reasons.
I wonder why, Walter, if you have theories as to why he sees urgency as very important right now. He seemed to hint at it in his tweets this morning, saying if the ban were announced with a one-week notice, the bad would rush into our country during that week. A lot of bad dudes out there. Why is he in such a rush?
Well, first of all, I don't think that's true. There's a very strong vetting process now that takes up to 2 years. I can't imagine somebody who's a terrorist could suddenly get a visa within 1 week and rush in. And I think this is a question that you've asked. It's very good. That was sort of baffling this weekend. A lot of people, even in the agencies, including the military, Homeland Security, the Defense Department, about why this couldn't be done in a more thought-out way, especially since he had it very tightly held, and he's put Steve Bannon now on the National Security Council team. It seemed to be done more for political reasons and national security safety, and done in such a rushed way that it detracted from what I would assume are the more important things he was trying to do the regulatory reform, maybe do tax reform.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.